Hi, my name is Emily and welcome to ADFA Open Day 2020. Now, due to COVID-19 restrictions, we have given our Open Day a makeover this year and we have gone virtual. We've worked very hard to bring you an Open Day that showcases all ADFA has to offer. Earlier this week, we put a shout out on our socials asking what you want to know. Today, we have a live panel here to answer your questions, and please don't forget to comment below if you have anything that you would like to ask. We also have a variety of demos for you that I think you will really enjoy, so let's get started. And as with any Open Day, let's begin with a tour of the Australian Defence Force Academy. So now that you have a sense of the campus and some of the wonderful facilities here, who better to tell us all about it than three current cadets here at ADFA? So let's start with some introductions. If you could please let us know your name, your job role and the degree that you're studying here at ADFA.
Yeah, so my name's Sophie Corver and I'm currently a General Service Officer in the Army. I'm also studying a Bachelor of Arts as well at the moment.
My name's Christopher Abernanti. I'm currently studying electrical engineering and I'm hoping to become an electronics engineer in the Air Force.
Hi, my name's Sandra Ann and I'm studying a Bachelor of Business and I'm aspiring to be a Maritime Warfare Officer in the Royal Australian Navy.
Now, we have received some questions earlier in the week from Instagram, as I noted, so we'll jump straight into those. Sammy has asked, why should I go to ADFA instead of just going direct entry to the Defence Force?
Yeah, so Sammy, in response to that, ADFA, you train to be an officer, so therefore you're not a general entry person in the Defence Force. So as an officer, you're expected to lead other people, and while you're at ADFA, you also get a degree. So you study a civilian degree, which has civilian qualifications, and you're into a job within Defence as a leader.
To add on to that, ADFA provides a tri-service environment, and you are exposed to different people from different services, and that gives you a wide variety of opportunities to network with people from different services that you will probably end up working with in the future. So that's an opportunity that you get to expose yourself earlier on than direct entry officers.
ADFA's also just a really good place to trial your type of leadership. It's really an institution where you can fail and then learn from your mistakes. So that way, if you've gone through 3 years of study and practicing your actual career as an officer, you'll be a lot better off in the long run, I feel at least.
Absolutely. And it is possible to join the Defence Force direct entry as in an officer capacity, but I guess ADFA gives you the opportunity to study that civilian university degree as well. So it's for the people who I guess still want to study but also experience military life, would you say?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we can say for everyone, like I've been able to grow so much more with this time at ADFA than being put straight into the continuum, and just be able to meet all those new people, be able to, experience new things, be a part of social co-curricular activities, and you just get so many opportunities here that you probably wouldn't as a direct entry officer.
Absolutely. Now, Tom has asked, if you're studying engineering at ADFA, do you have to become an engineer in the Defence Force?
So when you come into ADFA, so in particular, you might be signing up to actually do an engineering job. So in my case, as an electronics engineer, in which case you will have to do an engineering degree. There are 3 main engineering degrees here offered at ADFA, and that will depend on your stream. But you could come in as a pilot, for instance, or a GSO, and do engineering if you so desired. So it really depends on what you want to come in as into ADFA.
Yeah. So you don't actually have to, in the Army as a general service officer or an engineering student at ADFA, you don't have to be an engineer afterwards. You do have a qualification and a degree in engineering, and that is definitely, expected. You can do that job for sure because you're qualified for it, but there is options to not just be a solid engineer your whole career, for sure.
So let's talk a little bit about your own job roles, I guess, and the degree that you're studying as well. What made you opt for both of those?
Yeah, so I'm a general service officer, as I said earlier, so I don't have a specific job role at the moment. That will be determined after I graduate from the Royal Military College in Duntroon. So my degree, that's why I like to keep my degree open. So I was doing a Bachelor of Arts. I am doing one in politics and Indonesian. So I'm quite interested in how the world works around me and trying to get a broader view and hopefully maybe stream into something like signals or intelligence or something like that further on down the track.
And is that why or what sort of gained your interest in becoming an officer, particularly within the Army?
Yeah. So definitely, I feel like being an officer, you've got so many opportunities to learn how to lead and be a leader of others, which is something that I've learnt throughout school and a few years afterwards that I really enjoy doing and developing myself and positively influencing people around me from those developments. So that's definitely something I'm excited to do for sure.
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to become an electronics engineer. Electronics engineer is essentially just someone who takes control of a team of AvTechs, just technicians who essentially work on aircraft. The entire job is just to try and reduce risk when it comes to actually flying aircraft, maintaining aircraft, moving stuff around. But as an officer, you generally will be put into other roles of management. So that's generally the job from the Air Force perspective, I guess.
And what got you interested in that role specifically? Was that something you really loved when you were younger? Is it from your family?
So I've always really wanted to be an engineer since I was quite young, studying physics in particular. I love that. But yeah, so when I was going through all my application processes for universities, the end of year 12, early year 12, so on and so forth, I saw ADFA as a nice little opportunity to give it a shot, put it forward, and I saw, a chance to not only just study electrical engineering, something I've always wanted to do, but also really apply that degree straight out of the university, have a guaranteed job, things like that.
Absolutely. What about you, Sandra?
So as I said in my intro, I'm aspiring to be a maritime warfare officer, and in my first year in Navy, I was able to experience a few aspects of that. And as a maritime warfare officer, you're expected to be the commanding officer's representative on the ship and pretty much maintain the safety of not only the ship navigationally, but also the crew. And that's probably one of the motivating reasons of why I wanted that job. It's not only the fact that you have to step up to the challenge, but also you recognise that there is so much, pressure put on you, and that's one of the reasons I've wanted to get into that job role. Studying business, although many might not see the correlation, but you do need to manage your people as a leader, and in business, in a different domain of corporate business or whatever, you have the opportunity to learn skills and ways that you can manage your people, but also study skills from a degree like a civilian degree where you can apply those techniques to your job to be able to develop yourself even further.
Absolutely. Amelia has asked, how can you get fit before applying to ADFA? So I guess here we can talk a little bit about fitness in preparation for your application, and then once you were a member of the Defence Force here at ADFA.
So I'd say that before joining, so obviously you have to do your sit-ups, your push-ups, and do a beep test. So focus on those three aspects. If you're work to your strengths and your weaknesses. If you're feeling a little bit poor on your push-ups, keep doing push-ups. The only way you can get better at push-ups is doing more push-ups. That's something that I've kind of learnt the hard way, and I've significantly, gotten better at it since joining. At ADFA, you're pretty much paid, and you have the resources to get fit and stay fit. So you have the gym. We have an amazing gym where you can push your best and, excel in the fitness area. And I aim to go to the gym almost every single day. So it's up to you how you want to progress, but ADFA provides all the resources for you to get as fit as possible.
Yeah, and you don't have to really come in with an excellent level of fitness. You don't need to be, the fittest person in Australia to come into the Australian Defence Force Academy. When you come in, the PTIs here, the physical training instructors, are really, really good at helping you build up your level of fitness. It's a really good program that, for me, coming in not too fit, I've really seen myself grow in that sense just from doing PT, let alone going to the gym every so often.
Yeah, and I think for me, same as Sandra, I just focused on doing, my push-ups, sit-ups and running, definitely getting that all good to go. And then you come in here running pretty much. So yeah, pretty good like that. So
Max has asked how much PT is there at ADFA?
Yeah, so that's dependent on what year you're in. So in first year, I believe it's 3 times a week that you do PT, and for second and third years, you do twice a week for PT.
Yeah, so first year it's Monday mornings. At the moment, because of COVID, we just do an hour on these mornings because you have to rotate through the different squadrons just to make everything fit for COVID restrictions. But yeah, you'll do a Monday morning PT session. This will generally involve something like running or maybe a circuit inside the gym where you'll move through a bunch of weights. But that's generally 2 areas they'll focus on. And then, Thursday morning and Friday evenings for first year.
yeah, and on top of that, you also can play sport and you have sport training as well. So you get pretty busy with your fitness, but it's all good fun as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Brina has asked what sort of sporting teams are on offer here. So is there cross country? What kind of, physical sporting teams are you a part of, or what's available here?
Yeah, so I think there's so many sports to choose from here.
Name a sport, you'll find it. And if it doesn't exist, you can create it, get a bunch of mates together and do it yourself.
So pretty much you get the basics like rugby, basketball, soccer, AFL, like those, ones that are pretty common. You can join the running club, like there's long distance, like that. So I play soccer and I played basketball last year.
So I play rugby, soccer, and I'm part of a few co-curricular clubs that promote fitness, such as Sisters in Arms. We get all the girls together, do fitness, and pretty much female empowerment and everything like that. So there's so many sports out there. Like as Chris said, if there's not a sport that isn't here, you can make it yourself. Also, a lot of the sporting clubs have put up videos on the ADFA page, so check them out as well.
Absolutely. And another amazing aspect of ADFA as well is the sporting competitions and the travel and the opportunities that you get. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So most of the clubs are entered into the local Canberra competitions. So you're playing local sport in whatever grade that ADFA sees fit for that team. And from there, you've got other clubs that are from nearby Canberra. So there's like Coombe and Waggon, all those people are involved. So you can travel around. Definitely, you go around Canberra every weekend playing your sport, so it's a really good opportunity to see Canberra if you're new here, so it's really good.
There's also the inter competitions within ADFA, so there's the Lancaster competitions. Just the other day, we actually did the athletics and FitX. Yes, and there's also things like shooting competition, swimming competition. So not only will you be competing with around Canberra, if you on your chosen sport, there are also competitions to compete with your fellow cadets over the year.
Amazing.
Yeah, so ADFA loves competition and pretty much pushing people to go past their boundaries and to excel pretty much. Competing against different clubs all over Canberra, all over the state, just brings everyone together. It's so much fun. For example, for rugby, probably the best year we've had for rugby. Just bringing everyone together, that cohesion amongst the years, get to know everyone, just get amongst it. So much fun.
Now, a big highlight of ADFA Open Day for many of us is being able to see the extremely talented military working dogs in action. Now, while these guys are also super cute, I'm sure you guys will agree, their job is very important in the Defence Force. Teamwork is a key aspect of all roles in the Australian Defence Force. And what better example of that than military working dog handlers and their furry partners? Every day, handlers work side by side with either a German Shepherd or a Belgian Shepherd Malinois. Together, they play a crucial role in keeping Air Force bases secure. Their duties can range from crime prevention patrols, intruder detection and crowd control, to search operations and emergency response. And they can even be deployed together all over the world. Handlers are carefully matched with the right dog to ensure they'll get along well. From then on, they work closely every day, maintaining a high level of fitness, training for scenarios like apprehending security threats and detecting explosives. And while they work hard, they play hard too, with plenty of opportunities for fun, games, and even rewards. These guys are always a crowd favourite at ADFA Open Day, and you can see why. After you graduate as an officer, you could end up with a pair like this under your command one day. Imagine having these two around the workplace. They're a great example of the diverse career opportunities in the Defence Force, the amazing experiences on offer, and the close friendships you can make that last a lifetime. With a career in defence, you can really take teamwork to the next level. Now, as I noticed earlier, we did a shout out for questions, and we're going to jump into those right now. Cam has asked, what does a day at ADFA look like?
Yeah, so a day at ADFA, every day is a little bit different. So you wake up at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, depending on the day. Monday's 6 and the rest of the week it's 7. Then you've got 2 hours of military training, and that can be consisting of PT, or it can be a brief or whatever year group, whatever you're doing in your year group for that day. And then from there you've got your classes for uni. So you attend your tutorials and lectures like a uni student would. And then you finish uni around 5:30 or 6. And then from there you've got your sport or your extracurricular activities to complete at night. And then you've got obviously study you've got to be doing. And yeah, that's pretty much a day in the life of ADFA.
Yeah, so Sophie makes it sound like it's quite full on, but it's actually like make it how you want. It's choose your own adventure. Is pretty much as you want to sign up for and get into things. That's how chock-a-block you'll be. But seriously, like, get around everything and make the most out of your time at ADFA. Yeah.
And I guess the difference, between ADFA and a standard university wouldn't be that difference in terms of, getting up, starting your day, going to lectures, doing your study. You just get, I guess, some fun little military exercises in between that. What's the difference between, or the ratio, Luke has asked, between military exercises and studying for your degree?
So this place is very, very focused on doing your degree. It's the main purpose of ADFA, really. So you'll wake up between 8 to 10 is when you'll be doing your military studies. So it's just 2 hours a day blocked out. That will include PT and other things like that. So generally, you'll be focusing a lot more on your studies throughout that 10 to 5 period.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so as Chris said, there is an emphasis on academic studies.
Yep.
And staff and the academy are very cognizant of that, and definitely when it comes to blocks when study is ramping up and you have exams, staff are very conscious of the fact that they need to give you time to prepare for that. So at times you might find that there is an obvious privilege of academics over military, but of course there are those blocks where we do have military studies.
Yeah, and I think a big part of ADFA as well is single service training. So we have breaks in uni, which is about 2 weeks or varies amount of time. And from there you go away with your service and your year group and you do single service training. So we've all done our own version of it. And I've been learning how to be in the army really and to be a soldier first. So that's what what Army focuses on, and you guys go to other bases and learn stuff like that. So for 2 weeks, you're immersed in, you know, in defence in training as it is, as well as then you come back here and you're straight back into studies. So that, you know, comes in and out throughout the year as well.
Yeah, and this isn't every uni break as well. So, for example, the Army will be doing a lot more of their single service training because they're preparing to go over the hill to the Royal Military College. But the Air Force is in particular doing the Officer Training School program, and the Navy has already done their officer course before they come to ADFA.
Yeah, so with Navy, it's a little bit different because we obviously have had that 1 year of exposure and also training. But I think with the purposes of Navy SSTs or single service trainings is to kind of reinvigorate everyone and to remind everyone of the Navy spirit and also the culture that we have there, and also to remind everyone, hey, like, you know, Navy's waiting for you on the other side, so get keen.
Yeah. Talia asked, what time do classes finish and how much free time do you get?
Yeah.
So that's all dependent on your degree stream. So definitely in comparison from an arts student to an engineer student, there'd be a big number of difference in hours of study. So I have about, I think, 12 hours of study each week, and I'm not sure how much you have, Chris.
At the moment, 24 contact hours. On top of that, you're obviously studying. So engineering is really full on, but honestly, you still get tons of free time to do what you want around the place. So it's not, you're not completely just working, no play.
But you are also studying a degree that you're very interested in and
Yes.
learning, so that's somewhere that you would want to be.
Yes, if you're coming into engineering, definitely know you want to do engineering, because if you lose motivation, it's going to be very, very hard to keep going.
Catch up, absolutely. Darcy has asked, do you have normal weekends?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously there's a few weekends here and there when you've got to do some sort of taskings or jobs. But yeah, we've, you know, majority of the year, Saturday and Sundays to yourself and sport.
Yeah, and yeah, with the weekends, you usually have sport. So your sporting team's probably playing in a competition, and then after that, you guys hang out with each other, hang out with your mates. Yeah, pretty free with what you want to do.
So you do have the opportunity to leave campus and to go and do things off-site as well?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Yeah. So I think first year, first 6 months, it's a little. You've got your training, so you're focusing on your training. But you know, once you earned your privileges, pretty much you go through. You've got a lot of freedom to get out and see Canberra for yourself.
Yeah, fantastic. Jack asked, how hard is it to get in? So I guess we can talk about how competitive it is here and the application process for each of you.
Yeah, so engineering, obviously, at least when I came in, you need an ATAR of 85. On top of that, you obviously need to go through the officer selection board process. But just one thing to know with the officer selection board, they're not looking for you to already be a leader. They're looking for your potential. So obviously it's super, super competitive. But if you just keep on top of your things, you know what you're passionate about coming in, you should be well off.
Yeah.
So no doubt, it's a very competitive process, and there's reasons for that. But you have so many incentives. ADFA is an amazing opportunity to start off your professional development. You have so many incentives, as I said, free medical, free dental, degree, everything's set up for you to succeed. And I think the reason for that is, you know, ADFA is a platform where, you know, we want to build the leaders of the future, and that's exactly why we're here. So no doubt it is a very competitive process, and it is a dual process, to emphasise on that. So we've got the military side, which is you have to go through DFR and do all the processes for that, and then to obtain a letter of offer. But then you've also got the academic side, which doing your equivalent HSC or to acquire an ATAR or OP, you need to obtain that ATAR that is relevant for the course that you want to study. So you need to achieve both of those to be able to, you know, get to ADFA.
Yeah, but I think, you know, although it's competitive, it's totally not unachievable.
Yeah, it's doable. It's
well, obviously,
very
we're all here today, so we've got to go somewhere. But no, like it's definitely, you prepare yourself, you're coached throughout the whole process. You're not alone doing it. You've got heaps of people who want you to succeed as well. Like you've got support for that, and you can ask questions. And definitely, it's a process that you're not left alone. So it's, you know, I'd recommend it to anyone. It's a great learning process in itself. So you just prepare yourself for that and talk to as many people as you can. And it's not too difficult in the end.
Yeah,
absolutely. Alex has asked, are officer roles typically desk jobs? So I guess here we can talk about the ratio between theory and prac with your academic studies and then in your broader careers as well.
So as a maritime warfare officer, I'll be on the ships driving, or with command driving and supporting the navigational effort of the ship. So it's a very practical job. I'll be out at sea for most of my career, and hopefully I won't be at a desk, but that is definitely what I'll be doing, out at sea, travelling. That's what I signed up for. So yeah,
definitely being an officer is that desk job, that desk work, especially for a lot of the Air Force, from what I know at least. Obviously there's the ground AGIs, I can't remember the acronym now.
The Defence Guards?
Yes, the Defence Guards, that's the one. They're the ones who go over the hill, and they'll be a lot more involved with a lot of Army stuff, but still within the Air Force. So it's really dependent on what you go into, so it's really hard to answer how much the ratio will be. But yeah, Navy's probably got the best, in my opinion, of that ratio.
Well, I suppose a lot of being an officer as well as being in command of people as well. So it'd be a lot of management skills and direction for them. So there is a theory and desk job, I suppose, in relevance to that.
I guess it's not really a desk job. Of course, as an officer, you're required to be, I guess, in charge of the welfare of your subordinates and the people under you. So you will have to be able to do those administration skills that are relevant to maintaining the welfare effort. So in a way, yes, there is aspects of a desk job in a sense, but in your job role, there's no doubt that there is a practical aspect where you're still involved.
It's still extremely rewarding.
Exactly, You can't lead from a desk, as I say, so you've got to get out there as well. So. For sure.
100%. Potentially one of the most active, I guess, management desk roles that you could ever get.
That's right.
Now, we've talked about some of the great facilities and study options at ADFA. Obviously, the academic side of things is really important here, like at any uni. But another important and very unique part of ADFA is the physical training. And one of the more popular training activities here is abseiling. So let's hear a little bit more about the abseiling facilities and training right now. At ADFA, you can combine study with adventure, with a range of amazing facilities to enjoy on campus. Like this awesome abseiling tower. Not only can you enjoy it in your downtime, it's even part of course curriculum, with adventure training forming a big part of an ADFA cadet's time on campus. Sure, this isn't your average classroom, but here you can learn firsthand about confidence, resilience, strength and courage, all qualities that help develop well-rounded leaders. And don't worry if you're not that sporty, you will be guided by professionals. Let's listen in for some training.
So you lean back into the abseiling rope, legs shoulder width apart, heels over the edge, bend the knees, and then you sit down like you're sitting into a seat. Your master hand, which is all your dominant hand, stays to the right hand side of the body. To apply the brake, you simply hold the rope behind your back and you won't go anywhere. To move, lift the rope out beside the body to decrease the angle on the device and you'll move. If you start to fall or lose control, the brakeman will apply the brake, and then if I let go of the abseiling system, I'm not going anywhere. Then go faster by letting more out, you go slower just by letting a little bit out.
And if you're still seeking a rush on campus, there's also overwater and outdoor obstacle courses, a climbing wall, sailing and a gymnasium. To chase even more thrills, join the Adventure Sports Club for activities like climbing, caving, orienteering, whitewater rafting, alpine training and hiking. With world-class facilities, there's no shortage of experiences on offer at ADFA. So I might see you 20 feet in the air. I'm always so impressed by the ADFA facilities. Now, we touched on some of the other great adventure training facilities just now. So can you talk to some of your favourite activities here at ADFA?
Yeah, so I think for me, not so adventurous, I suppose. One of my favourite things, I got a hobby in making videos, so that's something that I enjoy doing. And at ADFA, we've got a club, like the photography club, and that's a really good group of people who we all help each other with our own skills and bring something new to the table and learn more. So yeah, I'm doing my hobby as part of the side thing with all my friends around me, so it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, my favourite activity is probably the rugby club. Yep. Yeah, so get around, the girls rugby team and, prepare for competitions. And yeah, currently we're undefeated, so go us. We're doing really well. Yeah.
Amazing, good job.
So I play in the academy band, play the alto saxophone, so it's a marching band. My first ever experience of actually marching in a band, and it's terrifying, but it's so much fun. Other than that, so as we alluded to before, you can also start up little hobbies with your friends and eventually make them to a club. So right now I'm getting into painting miniatures for Warhammer. So myself and my friend are trying to make that a bit more of a bigger thing. So you get down, do what you want as your hobbies, and there's many things to enjoy here other than just study.
And I guess, you know, the clubs and teams here, it's not all physical sport. I mean, so like you said, you've got your videography, Chris, you've got marching band. What other kinds of clubs here, I guess, would people might be surprised to hear about that's not necessarily, you know, sports based?
Well,
I think one of them would definitely be the DJ Vec. So you wouldn't
DJ.
You wouldn't
DJ.
think it. Like DJ. Yeah, like you wouldn't think it. Hey, but.
What was that you were talking about before? They had them at that competition?
Yeah, so last year in ADFA Open Day, we had a deadlift competition for I think the ADFA Titans, which is a weight a body conditioning and weight club.
So that's a club within itself.
Yeah, that's a club within itself. So they were doing a competition, and the DJ Vec, they were doing tunes and everything. It was great. Yeah.
There's also the Mill Skills Club, which is a very military inclined one. They'll prepare themselves for the obstacle courses, section attacks, things like that.
Wow.
So if you really are inclined to like all of the military side of ADFA, you can get more of that through the club.
Yeah, cool.
Can recommend. Did an obstacle course. They set up activity last year, and it was amazing. So much fun. Challenges you so much as well.
That's so cool. George asked, what are some of the benefits to joining ADFA? We've talked about clubs. I guess we can talk about some of the benefits in terms of accommodation, housing, things like that.
So with ADFA accommodation, so it's subsidised, and you get to live with 40-odd people. So you get 4 people in one part of where you're going to live, and you have one bathroom, one laundry, and one toilet, and it's enough for you guys to. It's more than enough. And you get to experience that communal living that you probably won't get anywhere else. You get to meet lifelong mates, have really good banter and just, have a good time.
Yep.
It's also really good for when you're studying, living with 40-odd people, many of which will do your degree if you're arts, and obviously you'll have a few people who do your degree for other streams. It's really easy to just go up to your mate's room, bang down their door and say, hey, we're doing a study session today.
Yep.
Oh, great. Of course.
Yeah. We'll work together.
Yeah, we'll work together.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Alex has asked, what can I do to demonstrate leadership potential? So I suppose looking at the application process and how you can best prepare yourself for an officer role and for your application.
Yeah, so I think one thing that I was told when I was going through the application process, and that I definitely found helped me, was applied for leadership positions in school. So if you're still in school and thinking about ADFA, definitely, apply for those school, like the house captain or school captain, all those kind of roles. Or getting, like if you've got a sport, try and be involved in the leadership team within your sporting team. Or, I think just little experiences like that definitely go a long way, not just on paper, but just helping yourself learn if you really enjoy leading and, what type of leader you kind of want to be, for sure.
Yeah, extracurricular clubs are they're massive when you're going through high school.
Yeah.
For example, the stereotype of a well-spoken officer is something I was told to take up debating, which I did, and that definitely helped me a lot with public speaking. So small things like that can really help you prepare.
Also, personally for me, I thought as a leader at ADFA, we're taught to embody certain values, and that's through CRISP, which is courage, respect, integrity, service, and professionalism. And a part of that, I embodied service through community service. So if you put yourself out there, help the community, do what you can, that's in a way also very, puts you out there from, people, taking leadership positions at school, at sports, but you're willingly giving your time to provide back to the community. So that's an option as well.
Yeah, they also want to see you're very passionate about what you want to do. Yeah. So going through all your selection boards and that dual application process, if you're going for Air Force, they'll want you to know about the airframes. If you're going for Navy, they'll want you to know about ships. If you're going for Army, they'll want you to know about the different systems. There are many systems they work with. But to show to the selection board that you're passionate about what you want to do, that's really the best advice I think I can give.
And that's in reference to the Officer Selection Board specifically, which is an additional process for anyone looking at an officer entry role in the Defence Force. So you all had to sit that OSB. How did you, prepare yourselves for that?
Yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking experience, I won't lie.
Terrifying.
Yeah, but it was a really good learning experience. You've got to sit down with 10 other people you don't know, and you've given tasks to do out, like take out and like speeches and stuff like that. But preparing for that, you just got to be passionate, definitely. Just make sure try and bring some confidence to yourself and talk to people who have been through the process. Obviously, they got to, can't say everything, but they can help you out prepare for that. Definitely just do your research as well and know what your job role is that you want to do and why you're here and those kind of things. So,
I think for me, like it's quite difficult to prepare for something like that. If you told me to sit one again, I'd probably struggle as well again. It's just terrifying. But just know what your strengths and weaknesses are, and don't be afraid to show a little bit of weakness, because at the end of the day, they want to see if you have the potential to be a good leader. And it's okay if you're not 100% on all the systems and all what's going on with the Navy or all the services. Just show that you're passionate and that you're motivated to do the best that you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also try to find someone from your actual job role who's already in the actual service. So I was very lucky that I went through my careers coordinator and he found an ex-student from my high school who was actually an aerospace engineer. So finding that really helped me clarify a lot of things, because it can be confusing trying to figure out what exactly goes on with all the different roles on the DFR page sometimes.
Absolutely. So super important, I guess, Sandra, based on what you were saying, to be yourself. And also, I guess we talk about different leadership styles as well. You think of leadership and you think of, the big loud leader. There are different styles of leadership. You can have quiet leaders. So it's not necessarily about, being able to stand up and stomp around. It's being able to, just command that energy, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. At ADFA, you have the opportunity to test all those leadership styles out. You're mentored and coached throughout your whole time here. So use the resources that you have, put your hand up and take those opportunities where you can, use and find out what your leadership style is. Because at the end of the day, ADFA is a training institution, and you have that safety net where it's okay to fail sometimes, and at the end of the day, you probably will, and that's okay, because you're here to learn and develop, and that's really why you're here.
Absolutely. So you're not going to get booted if you fail a course?
Definitely not. Definitely. No. I'll say I've failed at many things, and I'm still here, so,
Jaden asked, does your experience at ADFA change depending on your service? Like, we have all three here who can talk about the differences.
Yes.
It definitely
Simple
does vary.
Yes.
Yes, I
think
say that.
the biggest difference for someone in the Army, we have a lot of single service training, because we're expected to get prepared for the Royal Military College after we graduate from here. So we're expected to build up on those skills. But you guys,
Yeah, Air Force is very stereotypical, the relaxed service, all of that. We just do our thing. It's very different. As I was saying, they do a lot of SST training, preparing themselves for RMC. In the Air Force, we're just going through preparing ourselves for OTC, Officer Training School, or just completing that, it's a training college. So you're essentially just going through learning about Air Force. That's all you really do on the Air Force side.
So from Navy, it's a little bit different, because you've obviously had that prior 1 year experience. So we've had that 6 months in NEOC, which is a new entry officer course, and then depending on your job stream, you may either go straight into your job stream training, or you might have work experience. Definitely, when you come to ADFA, you have a sense of what the military is like and also what your service is like. So in a sense, staff do have a little bit of a higher expectation for you to mentor, as well as kind of guide the newcomers, I guess, the new officer cadets to get into the Corps and assimilate. But at the end of the day, you guys all everyone merges together, and it's the same. You're just having a good time.
Absolutely. I mean, it's great to learn more about the sort of combined degree opportunities and study opportunities on offer. But let's now look at another training experience that you might like to undertake at ADFA. While a lot of civilian universities have a variety of clubs and teams, and we've already discussed that as well, what they don't have is a premier precision drill team. The ADFA Precision Drill Team is the premier drill group at ADFA, renowned for their teamwork, timing and discipline. So, what's a precision drill? Well, all ADFA cadets learn basic drills to perform at parades. This is a more specialised version, with all moves performed in unison, entirely from memory, without words of command. If you're wondering how many moves they have memorised, it's over 200. Precision drills are a long-standing tradition at ADFA, giving cadets the chance to connect with history and provide service to Australia. The team supports the Academy and wider community at events like Anzac Day and Remembrance Day services, as well as ADFA Open Day and UNSW Kensington Open Day. Those who take part gain an enormous sense of pride and the opportunity to grow as leaders. The team is made up of volunteer officer cadets and midshipmen who meet up twice a week for training. It's one of the many extracurricular activities on offer at ADFA and a great way to stay active and make new friends. So, think you've got what it takes? Join the team at ADFA to find out. So we heard a little bit there about the friendships that you make at ADFA, particularly during your extracurricular activities and training. I feel like that's something that cadets at ADFA, they talk about quite a bit, and I really like it, is the really solid, lifelong friendships that you make here. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
100%,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my best friends have come from ADFA at the moment. Like, obviously, we're all living this experience together, and you're all growing together. And you know, it's not all easy. There's a lot of times where you've got to really look to your friends for help, and you all live together, and it's, you know, you're all built for, like, it's all built for success here. So go to your mate next door for some help or whatever. Like, you just build friendships through those challenges, and for sure, yeah, lifelong friends. I can already say that. Like, yeah, just best mates ever. Yeah, for sure.
Build up on what Sophie said. Lifelong mates. You know that you can count on them on whatever you need, and they'll always have you back no matter what. And you really build those friendships not only through the community living that you experience at ADFA, but also through the sports and the extracurricular activities you take part in. For instance, Sophie and I, we play soccer together, and we have great banter and all the time. And it's you know, we mess around, have a good time, and that's all it's about. ADFA, you know, you have the opportunity to, you know, do what you want here, so take advantage of that.
And I guess you've all come from all over the country. You know, ADFA is based in Canberra, but there's that intimidation, I guess, from, you know, travelling all the way across the country. Some of you have come straight from school, so might not have lived out of home before or had that life experience, so it could feel perhaps a little bit intimidating starting here, but you're all in the same boat, right?
Yeah, I think that builds connections straight away, because you're out of your comfort zones off the cuff. So that's definitely somewhere you look around you for help, and that's how you start your friendships with everyone. So yeah, for sure.
And yeah, you definitely miss family when you leave home. Like, I was barely holding together the first few weeks, missing friends, missing family. But it honestly does make those times where you go back to see your friends and family from home a lot more valuable, because you've got so much to talk about with them, and they've got so much to say to you.
But also, on top of that, it makes you appreciate the independence that you develop. So whenever I go back home, I feel that I have that extra step of independence that my mates might not have, and I just cherish that, and I take it as, you know, ADFA's kind of given me that opportunity to develop myself and you know, make me a bit more independent, and you know, have that extra step ahead of other people that may not have that.
Absolutely. Geordie has asked, what happens after ADFA? So let's talk about some of your aspirations for the future and what you're going to take out with you into your career, I guess.
Army.
Yeah, right, we'll start with me. So as soon as I graduate from ADFA, I go over to the Royal Military College Duntroon for a year. So we do a full year of officer training for Army-specific stuff. So from there, I'll graduate as a lieutenant, and then I'm in platoon command, so I'll be in charge of about 40-odd people in whatever job role I get selected for. So I'm still, because I'm a general service officer, it's based on how I perform at RMC. So from there, like, you give your preference of what you want to do, and hopefully you get the job role you want, and then you're straight into the job after that. So it's pretty daunting, and to think that in like 2.5 years' time I'm going to be straight out there, but it's pretty exciting as well. I'm very keen for that. So.
Absolutely.
So I will continue on with my maritime warfare officer training. My first year, I've conducted the phase 1 and phase 2 of my training, and after ADFA in 2022, I'll be doing phase 3 and phase 4, which is pretty much consolidating and building upon that navigation as well as that safety when driving the ship, I guess. And in phase 4, it's more on that warfare aspect, and after that, consolidating on different platforms. In phase 3, it's more small boats, whereas with phase 4, you're just consolidating, and after that, you're given an opportunity to specialise in a certain stream, and I'll probably end up going towards a principal warfare officer stream, and that's more to do with warfare and using the systems on the weapon systems on the ship. So yeah.
Yeah, so ADFA is generally a 3-year posting for everyone, so you actually spend 3 years as a cadet at ADFA. But if you're doing engineering, you're required to do that 4th year of the degree, in which case you'll generally be promoted up a rank, and you'll go to the LEAP accommodation unless you want to live off base for other reasons.
Yep.
So once you've completed that 4th year for the engineers, you'll then start moving into your specific engineering training, which will depending what you need to do. So for Navy, I know they do at HMAS Cerberus, you'll do 6 months of training. For the Air Force, you go off and you do a bit of around the place postings to try to get experience in everything because it's a bit more varied. And then once you've done all that final bits of training, you're into your job, you're doing your job, you're having fun.
Yeah, wonderful. Will asked, what's the most challenging part about ADFA?
I think for me, balancing everything. So there's so many opportunities, as we've already talked about. You want to really put time into your friends, and you really want to put time into your academics and time into military training, but you start running out of time to put into it. So learning that balance of, what's your priority and working out your priorities. So obviously academics is your priority here, so you should focus on that, and being disciplined in that respect. So self-discipline, to not always be hanging out with your mates and having a good time, because you've got to actually get your job done. So yeah, that was probably the hardest thing for me. And it's a continuing thing. You just learn, where your strengths lie and where you've got to keep working on that. But for me, that's definitely one.
Yeah, building off, it's definitely time management is one of the hardest things to get on top of. But ADFA really does prepare you well for getting on top of that slowly. Like, it's one of the most important skills to have. So time management is just super important, and it really will be hard to get at first, but yeah, you'll get it eventually.
I think for me, it was that change in lifestyle all of a sudden. So with ADFA, you're expected to not only come in and live communally, but also you're expected to follow on to that military training that you've probably never experienced before. And that's completely different to what you've been, I guess, accustomed to your whole entire life. You're used to living with mum and dad, with your siblings, and then all of a sudden you're living with 40 other people and you're like, oh my God. But then on top of that, you face the challenges of military training, which you've probably never been exposed to before. So, you're scared of failing at times, but at the end of the day, everyone's in the same boat. So you rely on each other and make sure, you can build up each other and support each other and use all the resources that you have.
Duran's asked, what surprised you the most when you got to ADFA?
I think for me, the amount of friends I'd make. I was like, yeah, make a couple of good friends here and there, but no, I've met so many different people from everywhere around Australia, and even not just people who go to ADFA, but people who come to visit ADFA for presentations and things like that, and different training you got here and there, and coaches, and yeah, it's just amazing people in my life now. It's awesome just to have this wide view of all these awesome friends and different reasons, and yeah, that's something that shocked me for sure.
Probably how much self-discipline I've gained over time. So you're really forced into learning about self-discipline, things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely coming in, all of a sudden modifying my hobbies to more accommodate time to what I need to do, generally getting out and doing a lot more fitness, things like that. I never expected myself to adapt so fast to what was expected, I guess.
I guess to build on what both Sophie and Chris have said, all of a sudden when you have one of your leave books, or you get to go back home, you kind of feel a little bit more adulty. It's kind of weird, but you just feel oh, I know how to do that.
Yeah.
I know how to iron my shirt. I know how to look professional. I know how to sit an interview. It's just life skills that some other people might not have or are yet to have, and it just it just makes you feel, oh, I kind of feel accomplished. So yeah.
Now, we are seeing a lot of questions about family. So is family allowed to visit you here at ADFA, and or how often are you allowed to visit your own family?
Yeah, so I think at ADFA you can't have people come into you where you live, because that's considered the base. But you can have coffee at the cafe with your family if they live in Canberra, or if they come down to Canberra. Well, I'm from Canberra, so I'm pretty lucky because of that. And so I can see my family, you know, go home for dinner in the week for sure, bring friends home for dinner as well. And on the weekends I can stay at home if I want. Like, it's pretty relaxed like that because I'm second year now, so I've got those privileges. But you guys, you know, a bit different for you because you've moved from somewhere else. So
Yeah, so no doubt that having your family in Canberra is awesome. Yeah. But for people who are living interstate and across the country, around the country, it is quite difficult to see your family on a regular occasion. You do get the opportunity to see your family in leave books and periods where you do have an extended amount of time. So that's about like 2 weeks, even more at the end of the year. And your family can definitely come and visit you. I'm pretty sure that you are able to have your family like see where you live, but you're just requesting, like obviously requesting that to happen and have everyone be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
That's fine, but yeah, you get to see your family, no doubt.
Amazing. Kathleen asked, what are your core subjects at ADFA? So do you have a timetable?
Yeah. So my core subjects are Indonesian and politics. So I do units in regards to that. So Indonesian, I'm learning the language as well as learning the culture. So we do different units. And then politics, so I do like major power, like power interactions. I'm also doing the Australian security and the politics behind that. So it's pretty varied learning there. But yeah, you can choose, like I have a lot of choice over what I study, which is really a massive reward. Like I can do exactly what I want to study and really enjoy it for sure.
Yeah, so on top of what you already, like you choose for your own degree stream, I'm pretty sure there are compulsory core subjects that the military require you to do. For example, this semester I'm doing Intro to Military Ethics. So that teaches everything about military ethics and what guides people in the military to, you know, make those decisions that will be very challenging and difficult to make. So yeah, it's quite interesting.
Yeah, so with engineering, you're a bit more locked into what you do. You don't really get many choice on what you're actually going to study, other than those mandatory military ones. You get a bit of choice between those. But one really good thing about engineering at UNSW versus, let's say, Melbourne University, RMIT, that's just my experience, is that you get you get straight into what you're actually studying. So generally, you'll do at most other universities, you do a general engineering degree, and you sort of learn what you want to do later. For example, if you're coming into ADFA and you want to do electrical engineering, semester 1, you're doing a subject called Introduction to Electrical Engineering. You're getting straight into it. You're not wasting your time with stuff that's not going to be relevant to you later on.
Okay.
And on top of that, what Chris has just said, you have the best student-teacher ratios in the country. So you have the opportunity to use that resource and that advantage that if you are struggling, you can go to your lecturer directly because you're in such a small group of, your cohort is so small in comparison to the civilian unis out there. So use that advantage that if you are struggling or if you want to, you know, reach those high bands, go for it.
Absolutely. Peter asked, what would be your best advice to be successful in studying and life here at ADFA?
Yes, I think for me is expect the unexpected. So make sure you just be open-minded, really. That's my main advice. You're not sure, you don't really know a lot of things about what you actually will enjoy, and taking those opportunities, just really put yourself out there and talk to people you wouldn't talk to, and yeah, just really open your mind and get excited to learn, and you know, just take those opportunities for sure, because you never know where it will lead you. Like some of the best experiences I've had here is things I never thought I'd be doing, and people I never thought I'd be, you know, involved with, like just with different activities and stuff like that. So for sure.
Consistency and opportunity is the one I would say. So consistency in your studies. If you've got a test to study for, you need to be consistent throughout the week. And also opportunity in the sense of whenever you see something that you think can help you, even if you're not 100% sure, you should generally try to jump on top of that opportunity. So physics support programs, math support programs that the lecturers help you run. So even if you're still passing, you're not required to go to these programs, but definitely going to them can help you achieve those higher bands, as was said before.
Yeah, just to add on to what Chris has just said, it's all about opportunity here at ADFA. So you're not going to know what your actual capability and your ability to achieve something is going to be if you don't put your hand up and go for that opportunity. So really emphasize on putting your hand up, and you know what, even if you don't want to, or if you never had any experience in that field, just go for it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You did your best and you gave it a go.
Exactly right. Now, ADFA Open Day is well known for its really exciting displays and demos. We saw some military working dogs earlier, and another highlight at ADFA Open Day is the section attack demo. Despite being virtual today, we absolutely still want you to experience and witness this. So let's listen in and watch a section attack demo right now.
In this section attack, you'll see a section of soldiers role-play a real mission at ADFA. Being led by their officer, they'll work closely as a team to defeat a threat. This is where their knowledge of weapons handling and military drills are put into action. We'll follow Section A in their mission to capture and secure territory. So if you're wondering why it's called a section attack, a section is the name given to a small team of soldiers within a platoon. There are 8 to 10 soldiers in a section and 3 sections in a platoon. It's the role of an army officer to command a platoon. So as an ADFA graduate, you could be responsible for leading a team of up to 30 soldiers. Each section has a section commander. It's their role to relay the officer's commands to the soldiers. Clear communication is crucial.
Charlie, this is 1 Alpha, cut off, over.
The cohesive teamwork on display is a result of regular training and discipline. They're following a very specific process.
No effective fire front! No effective fire front!
As an Army officer cadet at ADFA, you'll learn to carry out section attacks as part of your studies. While this training is most relevant to the Army, it is important for Air Force officer cadets or Navy midshipmen too. Understanding techniques from each service will help you become a more well-rounded leader. It's activities like this that make studying at ADFA truly unique. You'll get the chance to put theory into practice outside the classroom, physically learning to lead. It's an opportunity you won't find at any other university.
Now, I'm going to direct this one to you, Sophie, as the Army representative here. Apart from looking so impressive, how much training goes into a section attack? And I guess I'm talking about training in terms of communication rather than the physical moves and tactics.
Yeah, so to get a section to work like that's a bit of an effort. It takes a lot of teamwork, definitely. They take you step by step through that, so that's what we do in our single service training, is learn things like section attacks. Each person in that has their own role, so you're taught how, what you're meant to do and expected to do, and you get an overview of the whole section as well. And then from there, you just trust your teammates and hope they do the right thing, and we all work together. And definitely just learn how to work as a team. That's the biggest thing in something like a section attack like that, and knowing your individual role and how it all works with each other. So yeah, for sure.
And I guess one of the biggest impacts of being such close friends here, you're working within a team, you really do have each other's backs and you have that trust within each other. Is that right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. There's no doubt of my friends, and if they've got my back, it's it's not hope. It's that they've got your back. There's nothing like that. Yeah.
I know, it's kind of weird. Even if you're not as close mates, you know that you can rely on someone here to have your back. Even if you're outside in Canberra having a good time or whatever, you know that they're going to have your back no matter what. So it's good to know that you have that support system here.
Absolutely. It's a really impressive note to end on, and another example of just how exciting and I guess unique studying at ADFA can be. And what a great way to end our Open Day experience as well. Unfortunately, that is all time we have for today, but I do hope you enjoyed listening to our panel discuss life at ADFA, as well as watching our military working dogs, abseilers and section attack military personnel in action. Thank you, Sandra, Chris and Sophie, for joining me today. And thank you to everyone who sent in a question or comment for us. If I didn't get to your inquiry today, you will hear back from us over the next week. To start an application, you can head to www.defencejobs.gov.au, or you can contact 13 1901 and speak to somebody directly. Thank you again, and we will see you at the next one.